When a cop goes to work, he never knows what's going to happen. Several years ago, I was working a late Saturday night shift, and I was dispatched to assist other officers on a domestic violence call. I learned two of my fellow officers had already arrested a male for beating his wife. So I arrived on scene, and I could see this giant-like figure of a man being escorted by these two officers down the front driveway to my Dodge Charger, which was already parked on the road. I observed this man to have not one, or even two, but three sets of handcuffs on behind his back. One of the senior officers told me I was going to transport this man to the county jail, which, by the way, was about a 20-minute drive. So it took all three of us officers to maneuver this large man in a way to get him to fit in the back of my patrol vehicle. And once he was snugly seated, the same senior officer warned me by saying, "This guy is very drunk, and he used to be the Utah strongman, so keep an eye on him." So I started to drive off and got maybe 2 to 3 miles outside the city when this arrestee started to yell. He said, "You must stop and let me out." And I thought to myself, hell no, I'm not going to stop and let you out. You got to be out of your mind. So he continued to yell for about 10 more seconds, and then I heard a large burp, and immediately I could smell the odor of vomit. And then I realized just then what he meant by wanting to stop and get out. He did not want to try and get away. He was attempting to tell me he was about to puke. And puke he did. This very large and heavily intoxicated man vomited longer and harder than I had ever seen. I quickly pulled the Charger over to the side of the road and opened the rear passenger door. This man was too big to lean out to finish his barfing, so he continued to upchuck all over the back of my patrol car and himself. Once he finally finished, he was completely and totally covered from head to toe in his vomit. My backseat was made of a cloth material, and the vomit was seeping into the cushions. The floor had about 3 inches of standing barf. My partition glass, which divides the rear to the front of the vehicle, of course, was covered with his stomach juices, and some of his vomit got through into my front compartment. All I could do at this point in time was just finish transporting him to the jail. I arrived and pulled my previously pristine patrol vehicle into the sally port, and there I unloaded this arrestee. As I was getting the man out of the vehicle, I realized the vomit acted as a lubricant, allowing him to squeeze out easier than before. I walked the prisoner into the jail with a sloppy, wet, and chunky trail of vomit following us. The jailers immediately told me to stop and leave the jail. They said they will not take him in this condition. I told the jailers to come and look inside my vehicle and see who got it worse. One of the jailers stood near the arrestee while the other one came out and looked inside my Charger. He laughed so hard it took him a moment to respond. He asked the other available jailers to come out to the sally port, and they all took a turn viewing the bar fest inside my vehicle. One of them took out their flip phone and started to take pictures. The jailers had a good laugh at my own expense, and they told me, "Hey, we will hose him off and allow him to stay." Working for a small department, I was tasked with cleaning my own patrol vehicle, of course at my own expense. I did the best I could, and this vehicle was never the same again. Fortunately for me, a few moments later, I was transferred to investigations, and this vehicle got reassigned to a newer officer. Poor sucker. So if you like this video, give it a thumbs up, and let's build this channel together by subscribing. Thanks for watching. Stay safe. Stay dangerous.